This is part 2 of trying to use only the 1,000 most used words. Let's see if I can do it while showing you my giant metal grabber. So this is a really strong metal grabber. If I were to stick a piece of metal over this area, it'd take a small car to pull it off. That means that if you got your finger in between the metal grabber and another big piece of metal, then you would no longer have a finger. So let's see how strong this really is by using it. So what better way to try it out than using something that can cut you?
Okay. Okay.
Now let's see what happens without this hand cover on.
Here we go. Ah! Oh! Look at that! Ah! Look at the force of that on my hand. Ah! 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 Look at that mark it leaves.
So the force of this on my hand was definitely not the force of a small car. The reason is because it's taking up a small area of the metal grabber, and there isn't enough metal in this cutter to pull it with the full force on my hand. So the more metal I have, the more force it'll pull down on my hand. But you can see how hard it's pulling just with this small amount of metal. This is crazy. I have my huge metal grabber up top and the metal money under it. Look how many I can stack.
Look at that. Oh! If you get them too high, they get sucked to the top.
This is really weird because the metal money is being pulled to the big metal grabber up here, but because they have their own field inside, they just want to stick to each other as well. If it were just one piece of metal money, it would easily fly towards the giant metal grabber, but because you have a lot of them, they become their own metal grabbers.
Whoa. That is crazy. This might make it get sucked up. That is so cool. Look at that. See if we can get one more. I think this is gonna make them all suck to the top. Let's see. Whoa!
So they're lining up with the metal grabber's pulling field. This makes each money piece have its own pulling field as well, so they become their own metal grabber. With a metal grabber this big, we don't have to only use little pieces of metal, but we can use big ones too. So I have my giant metal grabber up here, and I have heavy pieces of metal that you use to get stronger. Let's add these one by one and see how many it can hold on to.
Oh!
So look at that. Now to get them off. Now the final thing I want to try is with my little friends here. You can see how they're completely still here and not turning at all. But watch what happens when I bring the metal grabber near the little animal. You can see I'm not touching it at all. Even though the metal grabber's moving it, the animal can't feel the metal grabber's force at all, just like I can't feel the force on my hands holding it. So how is it moving away from the metal grabber even though the animal isn't made of metal? I can even stop the turning and make it go the other way.
See how it's starting to move away?
So the animal is being pushed away by the metal grabber. So this is showing that animals can get pushed away by metal grabbers. And it's not just the animals that can get pushed away from metal grabbers. In fact, everything in the world gets pushed away from metal grabbers, even metal. But as we know, metal grabbers don't push away metal, they pull it closer. But there is actually a small force that's pushing it away, but the force pulling it closer is stronger with metal. But with things that aren't metal, there isn't a force pulling it closer, so it gets pushed away. So everything gets pushed away from metal grabbers. But some things like metal just get pulled stronger than they get pushed. This means that if you had a strong enough metal grabber field, then you could make animals fly. This has actually been done before. You can see this animal that likes to jump flying in this picture. The metal grabber's field is pushing on every single cell in their body with the same force, and so they don't feel any force at all, and it makes them fly. By the way, here's the key if you wanted to figure out what I was actually trying to say, but I couldn't say it. I hope you like this moving picture where I talk about things. If you did, please join my group, and you can always hit the bell so that they'll tell you when I do another one of these moving pictures. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.